What if I told you? Every post-credit scene in the Multiverse Saga is secretly building toward one single event. Not random, not disconnected, but pieces of a larger war. Today, we map the entire path to Avengers Doomsday, and finally connect the broken universe. The Marvel Cinematic Universe didn't become a global phenomenon just because of superheroes. It was the promise of a shared universe, where every movie was a chapter in a larger story. And Marvel perfected one thing, the post-credit scene. When the credits roll in a normal movie, people leave. In a Marvel film, we stay, even when the theater lights turn on. But during the Multiverse Saga, something changed. The connection started feeling broken. So today we're fixing that. If you enjoy deep cinematic breakdowns like this, hit that like button and subscribe, because we're about to build the complete roadmap to Avengers Doomsday. Let's begin. Let's start with the non-negotiables. These are the scenes that must matter for Avengers Doomsday. It's an uncomfortable truth for some, but the most important foundation for the next Avengers film lies in the MCU's biggest financial struggle, the Marvels. The post-credit scene introducing the X-Men is the actual prologue to Doomsday. The universe where Monica Rambeau is currently trapped is almost certainly the one we will see in the upcoming war. Whether Monica's presence triggers an incursion, or she acts as the bridge for the X-Men to enter Earth 616, you cannot tell the Doomsday story without addressing this scene. Next, we look at Deadpool and Wolverine. While many saw the Johnny Storm callback as just a joke, there are layers hidden in the background. The scene confirms that Deadpool doesn't just work for the TVA, he has high-level access to their multiverse monitoring technology. This positions Wade Wilson as a key player who understands the structural collapse of the timelines before anyone else does. But the real hidden connection is the Gambit footage. On one of the TVA screens, and later in a released deleted scene, we see Gambit in the void. He turns around to see a sling ring portal reflecting in his eyes. This is a massive reveal. It suggests that survivors from the void, potentially the entire Resistance team, including Blade and Elektra, are being pulled back into the multiverse. Who opened that portal? We'll likely find out that the answer leads directly into the opening act of Doomsday. Then we have the political setup in Captain America: Brave New World. This scene should have happened much earlier in Phase 4, but its importance hasn't faded. The leader explicitly warned Sam Wilson about the existence of parallel Earths and the inevitability of heroes from different universes clashing. This is our first boots-on-the-ground confirmation of an incursion. It creates an immediate need for Sam to form a new Avengers team, a thread that picks up instantly in the next project. This leads us to Thunderbolts. Its second post-credit scene is a game-changer because it's rumored to be a direct sequence cut from Avengers Doomsday itself. Much like how Civil War footage was used for Ant-Man, this scene reveals that by 2028, the world is divided between two competing teams: Sam Wilson's Avengers and Val's government-sanctioned New Avengers. This sets the stage for a Civil War II, just as the multiverse begins to tear at the seams. And finally, the center of the storm, the Fantastic Four. In their film's post-credit scene, gives us our first and only look at Dr. Doom. We see him interacting with a 4-year-old Franklin Richards while Sue Storm looks on. This single scene is the bridge that connects the Fantastic Four's family dynamic directly to the rise of Doom in the next Avengers film. Now we enter the tricky category, scenes that were clearly built for one plan, but must now be retrofitted for another. The most obvious is Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. The post-credit scene showed a mysterious beacon being sent from the rings to an unknown point in the cosmos. Under the original Kang Dynasty plan, this signal was likely meant for Kang. But with Marvel pivoting away from that character, it is highly probable that Dr. Doom will be revealed as the recipient. Doom's pursuit of the Ten Rings as a source of power could be his entry point into the main MCU timeline. Then there is the massive loose end of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, the Council of Kangs. This was a multiversal level tease that Marvel cannot simply ignore. While they have moved on to Doom, a conclusion for the Kang threat is necessary. The most effective way to handle this in Doomsday would be to show Dr. Doom systematically concluding the Kangs, establishing his dominance over the multiverse in a single move. We also have the Valhalla scene from Thor: Love and Thunder. This scene shows Jane Foster entering the Norse afterlife. Its relevance to the future depends entirely on Thor's fate. If Thor dies in Doomsday, we may revisit this scene as he reunites with Jane. If not, this remains a beautiful but isolated character beat. Some scenes aren't about the end of the world, they are about the players on the board. In Black Panther: Wakanda Forever, we were introduced to Prince T'Challa, the son of the late king. While he likely won't lead the charge in Doomsday due to his age, his presence ensures the legacy of the Black Panther remains a central pillar of the MCU's long-term future. In the Cosmic Corner, Guardians of the Galaxy Vol. 3 established a new team led by Rocket and featuring Adam Warlock and Cosmo. Simultaneously, we saw that Star-Lord has returned to Earth to live with his grandfather. This tells us that when the incursions begin in Doomsday, we have a high-powered cosmic team ready to intervene, and a legendary hero hiding in plain sight on Earth, ready to suit up one last time. While Doomsday is the immediate threat, some scenes are planting seeds for the grand finale. Avengers: Secret Wars. The most significant setup comes from Spider-Man: No Way Home. At the end of that film, a small piece of the Venom symbiote was left behind in Earth 616. There is a very high probability that Tom Holland's Peter Parker will obtain the black suit during the events of Secret Wars, mirroring the iconic comic book storyline. Because Spider-Man may have a smaller role in Doomsday, this post-credit thread is a long-term investment that won't fully pay off until the very end of the saga. Now we have to talk about the Vanishing Sorcerer. At the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, a character named Clea appeared and took Strange into the Dark Dimension to fix an incursion he caused. This is one of the most critical plot points in the entire saga, yet we haven't heard a word about it since. Will they return in Doomsday to warn the Avengers, or are they being saved for Secret Wars? The lack of information on this scene makes it one of the most frustrating open loops in the franchise. Finally, we have the Zero Connection category, the threads that currently have nowhere to go. The Eternals gave us two massive teasers: Eros, Star Fox, and the voice of Blade speaking to the Black Knight. With the Blade movie facing production delays and no Eternals 2 in sight, these scenes feel like abandoned houses. Unless we get a Midnight Suns or Avengers Judgment Day film after 2027, these characters may never actually meet the Avengers. The same applies to Hercules from Thor: Love and Thunder and Sailing's takeover of the Ten Rings. While interesting, these are not the foundation of a multiversal war, and likely won't be addressed in the next two Avengers films. To give Marvel some credit, they have closed some doors. Black Widow post-credit scene was answered in Hawkeye and Thunderbolts. The cliffhanger from Far From Home was resolved in the opening minutes of No Way Home. And the second scene of Quantumania was a direct lead-in to the Loki series. These are the success stories of the Multiverse Saga, scenes that actually went somewhere. The Multiverse Saga has been a messy journey of fragments and fragments of stories. But as we look at the board, the path to Doomsday is finally coming into focus. From Monica Rambeau's displacement to Doctor Doom's shadow over the Fantastic Four, the pieces are moving. The wait is almost over, and this time, when the credits roll, we'll finally have our answers. What do you think? Did I miss a piece of the puzzle? Let me know your theories in the comments. Like the video, subscribe for more cinematic analysis, and I'll see you in the next one.